Welcome back everybody to ETF Investing Australia. This is the weekly overview show. We will have a look at the week ending the 16th of August 2019. As always, we are checking up on the mighty exchange traded funds. Hello my little value hounds, this is Scott. I'm the guy that wants to crack your financial sky. I've been listening, I've been watching, and I know that there's a great majority of you guys out there that are scared to invest. Mainly because you think you're going to lose all your goddamn money. What I'm trying to do here is show you guys that it's not as hard as it looks. You know, I want to give you guys some more information and give you the courage to take those steps to create your own destiny, effectively. So I hope that I can help you guys take that leap and start making, building your financial freedom and your financial future. Anyway, if you like what I'm doing and you think I'm adding some value to your life with these little videos, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Greatly appreciated. Have a great day and let's invest and crack your sky. Okay, let's crack on into it. Let's have a look at the ASX ETF top performers for last week. The top ETFs by 1 week total return, and the number one spot here we saw BetaShares Australia Equity Strong Bear, BBOZ is the code there, up 6.2%, followed up here by VanEck Vectors China New Economy ETF, CNU, 4.5%. VanEck Vectors China AMC A Shares ETF, the code there is CETF, up 3.9%. Followed up with the BetaShares Australia Bear Equity ETF, and the ticker there is BEAR, Bear, pretty clever, 2.5%. Number 5 position there, we have BetaShares Asia Technology Tigers ETF. Asia is the code, up 2.4% last week. Jumping over now to the top ETFs by 12 months total return, we are looking at VanEck Vectors Gold Miners ETF GDX in number one spot, up 40.4%. Not too bad for 12-month return there. BetaShares Geared Australia Equity Fund Gear, that is up 37.6%, followed up by the BetaShares Global Gold Miners ETF Hedge, which is MNRS, up 36.1%, followed up closely here by the BetaShares Global US Equity Fund, that's Geared Currency Hedge, have a code of GGUS, up 35.4%, 12 months total return there. AMP Global Infrastructure Securities Fund, GLIN, that one is up 27.7% for the year. Quick overview there for the top performers. Skipping along now to the ASX ETF money flows. So we look at where the money is flowing and just focus on the inflows, not focus on the outflows. So top ETFs by 1 week flow. And the number one spot here is BetaShares FTSE 100 ETF. Code there is F100. So we had inflows for that ETF of $63.7 million. That one I think is relatively new. I think it's only been on the list, listed on the ASX for a week or two. I think that one's proven to be quite popular. It's a quick overview of that one. F100 is the BetaShares ETF 100, FTSE 100 ETF, I should say. So the index is designed to track the performance of the 100 largest UK companies by market cap, and they're traded on the London Stock Exchange. The ETF has a market cap of 94.4 million or thereabouts. So as I said, quite new, and there's quite a lot of inflows coming to that. looks to be positive, or people think it's going to do well anyway. Number 2 spot there is ETFs Physical Gold. Code there is GOLD. We saw $29.4 million inflows last week. iShares Core S&P 500. Here we have the code of IVV. We saw inflows of 17.4 million. Obviously, people putting some bets in that the US economy is going to turn around. We also saw some good money for iShares S&P ASX 200 ETF. So the code there is IOZ. So that's one of the larger ETFs focused on the ASX 200. We saw inflows of 16.1 million. Followed up closely by iShares Core Cash ETF. The code there is BILL. We saw $14 million of inflows. So people still looking for some safe haven. Jumping over now to the top ETFs by year-to-date flows. Up there first we saw the BetaShares Australia High Interest Cash ETF with the code there of AAA. Year-to-date inflows, we've seen $440 million. Number 2 position there, we can see the Vanguard Australia Shares Index, VAS is the code. That one has seen $349.5 million inflow, followed up here in third place with the Vanguard MSCI Index International Series, code as VGS, seeing inflows of $273.7 million. Next up there, we can see the Vanguard Australia Fixed Interest Index ETF with the code of VAF. We've seen inflows there almost identical to the one above, $273.5 million in inflows. Number 5 position here, we can see the BetaShares Active Australia Hybrids Fund, the code there HBRD. We've seen inflows of $236 million. For those who may have forgotten or just need a quick refresher, AAA, which is the BetaShares Australia High Interest Cash ETF. That one invests money in high interest deposit accounts in Australia with banks such as ANZ, CBA and NAB. That one has a market cap of roughly $1.4 billion. You get a healthy dividend yield of 2.03%, which is better than the bank. So people use this as a proxy for a bank account. Morningstar give that one a rating of neutral, so that's effectively 2 out of 5 stars if you want to think of it like that. Okay, let's skip on to the ASX ETF trading volumes, so where the big volumes are going. Top ETF by number 1 average daily turnover. Number 1 spot here for last week, we have the State Street Spot S&P ASX 200 fund. The code there is STW. That has seen daily turnover of 15.4 million, followed up there closely by the iShares Core S&P 500 IVV is the code, with daily turnover of 13.1 million. Followed here by BetaShares FTSE or FTSE 100 ETF, so the code there is F100. That one has had weekly average turnover of $12.9 million, so that one's relatively new, as we mentioned in the previous slide. Followed up there, the number 4 position is the Vanguard Australia Share Index ETF. VAS is the code. That one's quite a popular ETF, which tracks the ASX 300. That one has seen weekly average daily turnover of $12.5 million. Number 5 position here, we can see iShares Europe ETF, IEU. That one has had 1 week average daily turnover of $11 million. So it looks like there's a bit of money heading towards Europe in the last week or so, or people think that Europe is on the turnaround. Who knows? Everyone's got a thought on different things at different times. Okay, let's skip across now to the top ETFs by year-to-date average daily turnover. Number 1 position here, we can see the State Street Spot S&P ASX 200 fund. The code there is STW, 14.6 million. Year-to-date average daily turnover for that ETF, quite a popular ETF. That's one of the bigger ETFs on the market. That one's about $3.7 billion market cap. Number 2 position, we can see the BetaShares Australia High Interest Cash ETF AAA. That one has year-to-date average daily turnover of 14.2 million. Followed up in the 3rd place there by Vanguard Australia Shares Index ETF, the code is ZYUS. We've seen $11.5 million of average daily turnover year to date there. iShares Core S&P 500, IVV is the code. So year to date average daily turnover of $7.1 million. In the 5th position here we can see BetaShares Australia 200 ETF, code of A200. That's the cheapest ETF on the ASX. That one has a management fee, if I remember correctly, of 0.07%. That one has had year-to-date average daily turnovers of $7 million. I like that one. If you're in the market for a ETF that tracks the ASX 200, yeah. So let's have a quick look at the weekly highlights. So a lot of these things have been mentioned previously or touched on previously. So as we saw, the China focused ETFs have had a positive bounce. We saw China New, so CNew and CETF, which is China New Economy ETF, and also the China AMCI 8 shares ETF, and they were both up sort of between 4.5 and just under 4% respectively. Looking at the worst performers, which is no real surprise for last week, with the resources. So it had all the problems with falling iron ore prices. BetaShares ASX, S&P ASX 200 resources sector ETF QRE got not, I wouldn't say slam, but definitely come off a reasonable amount there at 4.2%. So year to date, the best performers are gold miners, property, and China focused ETFs, which is a little bit surprising given the problems between America and China. So the VNA Vectors Gold Miners ETF, code GDX, that's up 40% as we touched on before, and the worst performers, only 10 ETFs were in the negative territory. So not too many ETFs in negative territory. So let's have a quick look at the inflows for the week. We're seen mostly in GLD, which we touched on in the previous slide, so gold. The ticket code there, as investors sought a safe haven given the global volatility over the last month. There's always going to be volatility, just how everyone perceives it differently. BetaShares FTSE 100 ETF, code there F100. So as we touched on before, that's had quite a large amount of inflows, and like I said, it's been listed quite recently. iShares Europe ETF OU had inflows of 33.8 million, as we touched on previously before as well in one of the earlier slides. So let's have a quick look at the net flows for the ETF market were 77 million. So that was made up of inflows of 270 million and outflows of 173 million. So net inflows of 77 million. So that's just a quick overview there for the last week. So hopefully you enjoyed that quick overview. Yeah, so this is our standard disclaimer. We're not promoting any particular product here, purely informational purposes to give you guys an overview on the market and what's happening. We always need to do our own research, so you don't want to be buying one product just because you've only looked at one product, and also, you need to take your own personal financial objectives into account, and where needed, get additional advice from a professional. Hey, thanks for taking the time and sticking around to the end of the video. I enjoy producing these videos for you guys. I actually learn a lot of information myself. It keeps me up to date with what's happening in the market. If you like what I'm doing, please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe, also jingle the bell. That'll let you know when the next video is coming. Greatly appreciate your time once again. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Ciao.